Hello everybody, Andrew Casey at Hypersanity Books. Today I'll be taking a look at Cruella. More importantly, the Emma Stone version of Cruella. I'll touch base on some of the other interpretations. You might be into writing, you may not be into writing. It's the characterization where some people do come to this channel for that. Otherwise, let's get into it. Number 10. Being single is okay.
Don't wanna be all by myself.
With the original story, she has a husband. He's not a big character within the original book because of the focus being about her. Now, with the Cruella character, there is also within the time and within the follow-up movies and other interpretations that being a woman and aspiring to other ambitions is considered a bad thing. So with some of the interpretations, like with the 101 Dalmatians movie, the original cartoon, she walks through the house and all that green smoke is a sign of being toxic to her friend Anita. With the characterization, however, I want to make one point clear with this review and in general, being single is okay. It is okay to have other ambitions. You might be in a relationship and needing to strive for certain goals and need to set boundaries with a spouse or other friendships and relationships to shoot for your goals. So within the Cruella character, I do want to say it is okay to be single, it is okay not to get married, and there are all different ambitious women out there in all different age categories. Number 9. Early childhood.
Not everyone appreciated that,
That's unfortunate.
That's ugly.
including my mother.
Oh, her name's Estella, not Cruella.
One thing I found was interesting with the opening of the movie, with the mother, she talks to her about keeping Cruella at bay and your name is Estella. She's already treated like she has two personalities. I feel like the character was drawn with inspiration from different sources of the Harvey Two-Face character. I don't mind the depiction to some degree, but I feel like in some way she was already set up for failure with the character and being bullied for being different and her being strong and confident to oppose against the social norm, against the school, against the bullies. You look at the way they treat her, yeah, you can justify some of the behaviours. I'm not saying it's all right, but the character is more engaging because she's not just cowering over to play victim. The character, however, she is set up with that early childhood challenges, and I do like the scene where she's going to get expelled, but the mother says, I'm pulling my daughter out before that, so it can't be on her record. Number 8. New friends.
Go back to your family, little girl.
Jasper was the insightful one,
She has no family.
which was also annoying. I designed fabulous disguises. We'd steal.
So she joins the other two characters that are already established, not to really be living within a normal place to the means of the society. And I like this aspect of the story. With the characterization, however, there's one to be a leader and one to be the supporting character, and she's joining them. With their life, it becomes more of a comfort zone, and within the characterization, trying to find her sense of self, she finds herself to try to make the best of the situation. And from this time of stealing, they find that they're able to get through life just fine. And I'm not saying they're doing anything right by any means, though without finding her sense of self, she's growing up and feeling empty when she hits the adult life, thinking, I needed to do something more, there was more for me in this life than the current life of stealing. So she has already some ambition trying to find herself. Number 7. First job. This is the first time she's putting some kind of genuine effort in to work a job, though she still is ambitious for something more, and that causes conflict within the job compared to going to work, getting paid, and keeping quiet. She also finds herself restricted for opportunity. With other flaws to the character of being closed off from another education. She's more self-taught. I'm not against all of this, to be honest. There is some jobs that are temporary for an income to get through while studying or trying to work towards some other goals. So I feel the character's search for identity, this is not working for her to get a job. Within some of the conflict, it leads on to another type of career opportunity, which has more responsibilities, and she's getting more into the field of what she actually likes, which is fashion. I also feel there are some inspirations from The Devil Wears Prada that comes into this story. Number 6, the angle. With this part of the story, now she's starting to become a lot more resourceful and cunning. So with setting up the operation for her job, she realizes that there's a family item that's been stolen from the Baroness. So she realizes from a little subplot from the beginning that this item is hers and she's going to get it back. With setting up the operation, one of the other characters says, "What's the angle with the job? What's the angle?" And now her character has changed. So instead of them being 3 characters being equals, she is taking charge and they become the lackeys, which starts to unfold the characterization for the other 2, which is more depicted in the 101 Dalmatians movies. Within the operation, trying to get the heirloom back, the Baroness has it on herself. Within this scene, yes, the other 2 have their slapstick comedy within the operation. With her character, she finds, with this certain subplot with the Dalmatians and blowing of the whistle, that she was the person responsible for killing her mother within the beginning. So it wasn't just an accident. With piecing certain things together within the heist, it starts to create that character change. With the beginning of the power scene, I found it was interesting because it's a black and white theme, so no colour, and then she puts on a show, the red stands out, and she says, "It was one of your pieces and I made it better." Number 5, the anti-hero is born. From this part of the story, instead of it being Cruella being a personality, which is who she is with the colour of her hair, she becomes a more dominant version of herself, and then the Estella character becomes the undercover character working the JOB, keeping tabs on things. With the anti-hero part, I like how the character changed. And she becomes more resourceful. Stealing the car, that's being resourceful. So there's certain things that she does that takes control of the situation. Her intentions to get the dogs is because one swallowed the family item. So she wants to get that back. And some of the dark aspects that seem more psychopathic, to be honest, are still in there. But as the anti-hero, it becomes a play on scenes with the montage, and I like this part because she is becoming more calculated against her enemy, the Baroness, to make a public appearance, to keep being in the public eye. And how that worked was fascinating for the story. It kept it engaging, and you can learn a lot from that. And as far as an anti-hero goes, I'll do like the Cruella character. I'm not keen on fashion. This is me dressed up to the max, and that's fine. Otherwise, with the story, yeah, it was engaging into subject matters that I don't understand. And it's, as long as the story was easy to follow, it's the confidence that I loved in the anti-hero, which kept the Baroness on her toes, and the conflict between the 2 characters is interesting. Number 4, cynical all the way. I'm not saying the Baroness character made Cruella, but from that other moment, it did change the tone of the story. With Cruella, one of the things with her personality is to be cynical on everything. The cynical side of her, I don't mind this with the storytelling, it is effective. I also found it was necessary. It kept the story flowing, it kept it tight, and as far as trusting goes, she couldn't trust other people. She knew one of the fashion helpers, that she knew she could trust him, she knew she could trust her lackeys, and I think that was an interesting take on the story, how she finds the worst in everything else, and it's part of that personality to get what she wants.
Did Anita tell you the news? She's going to have a baby.
Oh, you poor thing. I'm so sorry.
Number 3. Antagonist with no redeemable qualities.
You can't care about anyone else. Everyone else is an obstacle. You care what an obstacle wants or feels, you're dead.
One thing I want to say, yes, there are characters and people who can redeem themselves for a variety of different sins. However, for the purposes of the story and the current conflict, no, the character cannot be redeemed for what she is doing and what she has done. Her intentions is not to find any kind of redemption. She sees herself as an absolute, and that's one of the downfalls with an absolute character. An absolute character doesn't go through much change within the story because they already think they're at the top of the pyramid. With the Baroness, I could see that there's a lot of influence into the character from The Devil Wears Prada, from Anna Wintour. There is something about the character that has that dominating way in the workplace where people are on edge but going to listen to everything she says to keep their job. And it's frightening. One thing that I have been learning more frequently, to defeat power requires more power. Ironic, actually. Number 2, calculated risk. So with the Cruella character, throughout the story, she becomes more resourceful in the spare of the moment to different conflict. Throughout the story, though, the different outfits that she wears and the different ways of problem solving all shows how resourceful she is, but how she's taking calculated risks. So within the climax and the ending, it's a metaphorically speaking of the Estella character being killed off, and it's a way of how she's taken that calculated risk to gain everything that the Baroness owns within a legal binding agreement, which will bring me to the final point. Number 1, absolute character. With an anti-hero, when they finish their story and they become an absolute character, it's harder to tell which way to take the story from here. When a character sees themselves as an absolute character and there is no antagonist to help them push forward for more drive, it's hard to say from their perspective which way they're going to go. The thing with absolute characters, they're in control in one way because they see themselves an absolute, and that sometimes is the downfall because they no longer see other people as a risk, which is where the Cruella character in other adaptations is a flawed character because she's not looking at any other calculated risks. That all said, the character itself, I like the character. This is one of the best interpretations, and with a lot of its different subject matter, whether I understand fashion or not, it's not all about that. It's the psychological journey that the character goes through, and it's going for that ride. So with creating anti-heroes, this is one of the best examples to go off. Otherwise, that's it for today. If you'd like to push this video out further, I'll be doing other case studies on Public Enemy number 1. This video will be touching into some very tough territory. I'll try to keep the video clean. Otherwise, that's another story and shall be told another time.